down the rabbit hole, friends. We're here tonight to review a jail call between Grant Amato and his new prison girlfriend. Not only that, but I actually have an interview that was done with Grant Amato's prison girlfriend, and guys, it is shocking. Absolutely wild. Tomorrow, Tuesday, April 16th, the docuseries, the new Paramount docuseries is being released about Grant. So I really wanted to get this information out to you today. Let's take a listen. All right, we're gonna start with what I can only call an extremely cringe and creepy love message from Grant in prison to his new girlfriend. If you aren't aware of what the story of Grant Amato is, go back and watch the prior 3 videos. This guy has a history of creating a weird fantasy life. He has a history of mental health issues which have gone untreated, and here he is in this prison. I believe he's literally having the time of his life in prison because he's somehow become the big man on campus. We're going to hear in the interview later, like, hundreds of women are writing to him, and I think this is what he always wanted. His life in prison may be better than it was on the outside in certain ways. All right, let's start with this really cringy video. You may want to skip through it. There are times that I have a hard time with it. I might stop it in the middle to give you a break because it's short, but it's weird.
Hi, my precious little kitty. I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about you and that I miss you very much. And I can't wait to hear you soon. And everything about you just makes me so happy. And I just love you with all my heart, baby. You make me very desperate too for you. And I just want you with everything that I am. And I'll protect you always. And I'll love you if I've ever. So just know that I'm always thinking of you and that I always desire you with everything that I am. I love you.
Okay, that is the first message that he sends to this prison girlfriend. Well, allegedly sends to this prison girlfriend. I mean, he has hundreds of women writing him, and the girlfriend believes like she's his main one, but who knows? This could be to another one for all we know. But it's just something that was released by the prison that I wanted to give you access to. Yes, it's very cringy, and I do want to say it reminds me a lot. I've brought this up before, but recently I found out on TikTok that there is this insane new trend. It seems to primarily be among young people, and it's called like alpha wolf romance. I'm totally going to make an informative documentary style video about this because people need to know. All right, there's like an alpha wolf who protects the like female pack member that he chooses to be with, and they have some kind of a heart cord that has to do with wolves that like connects to each other, and whenever she feels pain he feels it, and when she feels pleasure he feels it. It's very weird and people are very into it, and I will do a video explaining it. But when I watch Grant go through this and he's like, I'll protect you forever, it kind of reminds me of the cringy stuff that I've seen on TikTok. So eventually we'll go down that rabbit hole. But for now, let's listen to another jail call from Grant Amato.
If you haven't realized, I'm always thinking of you, sweetheart. You're always on my mind. You're the most important thing on my mind. I just can't wait to hear you, and I can't wait to see you again. I want so many more pictures and videos, and this is just amazing that I get to see you like this. Those beautiful little nipples that I just want to suck and bite on. I can't wait, baby. I can't wait to feel you. I miss you, and I love you.
Yeah, Grant is quite the ladies' man in prison. He may also be a man's man. We don't know about that part of it, but he is asking for like videos and pics. It's kind of sad because I'm sure I know what he does with them, but I don't know, like, I wonder if he sells them to other people. I mean, he's got to get some profit off of the fact that he's notorious, so all these women want to be with him. So he probably takes a lot of the shit that they send and spreads it around. I've heard of this before, and it wouldn't surprise me if this is a game for him, like much like his life was an entire game for him. Grant is pretty gross. I will say Grant looks the best I've ever seen him. Like, I wonder if they got him on an antidepressant in prison. I bet that they did. He looks healthier. He's like of a better weight. His skin looks so much better. He just looks happier, and he probably desperately needed an antidepressant. I'm not saying that's like the only thing that was wrong with him, because he was also willing to kill his family depression does not make you a killer, right? So there's a lot of other things going on with him, but he definitely looks the best that I've ever seen him. And remember, we're getting this docuseries coming out tomorrow in which he is going to tell us all about like his new theory of what happened and the fact that he's still innocent and the fact that Sylvie, this ex-cam girl, has a lot to do with it. And I really need to see what he has to say. But I also want to go into this interview I found, I'm about to rock your world, with a girl who clearly has her own extreme mental health issues. And she has come out as being Grant Amato's prison girlfriend. Once again, who knows how many girlfriends he has, but she's going to tell us a lot about her relationship with him, but she's also going to tell us some kind of disturbing things about her life. She has mental health issues, and she does go into talking about how she has abused animals before, and at one point she tried to kill someone who attacked her, is my understanding of the story that she's telling, because she's kind of saying like how she could relate to Grant. A big part of the interview, my cat is hissing at my dog. Go ahead, get him. Do it. Do it, Delp. You get him. Okay, a big part of the interview is that she admits to having this condition in which she has an ongoing attraction to murderers. She writes to and tries to get involved with murderers in prison. That's kind of like her thing. But now that she's got Grant, she doesn't need anyone else, at least according to this interview. Let's take a listen.
And I just was worried. I don't know. I like killed animals and like collected maggots in jars.
You say you killed animals?
I killed multiple animals, yeah. But like I'll tell you something. I did kill a lot of animals, right? But like, hey, this is kind of crazy. But two months ago or something, I was like, and I stabbed him in the neck, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay, weird already, right? Okay, so Grant's girlfriend, the first thing that she admits to is she has a long history of like disturbing mental health problems. She says that when she was a child, she unalived some animals. She would also do things like collect insects, and I mean, it's not as weird, like keep them in jars. But also, she talks about how someone tried to attack her, a male tried to attack her when she got a little bit older, and she attacked him with a knife and ended up stabbing him in the neck. All right. I'm going to cut out most of this because it's just her going on and on about it. And she's laughing. It's basically exactly what you just heard here. She thinks it's kind of funny, but she also says she did not enjoy it. And that made her realize that she doesn't actually want to kill people, but she does enjoy being around people who have done it.
You're currently in a relationship with the webcam killer, Grant Amato. For those who aren't familiar with him, what can you say about his crimes?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's fucking pathetic. But I think that the motive is very, very, it's different than what people think. It wasn't just for her, you know? He was spiraling down already. He lost his job. He got arrested for grand larceny from stealing medication from the hospital or something and sedating his patients. And from there, he got caught in he spiraled down into delusion and lost sight of reality and lost sight of the future and like his whole life.
So this girlfriend is not taking the stance that Grant is innocent. All right. Now this interview is from a couple years ago, so I'm not sure how things have changed now. I don't know for sure if they're still together. I haven't been able to get a hold of her directly, but I'm still going down that rabbit hole. Clearly, this woman has severe mental health issues. And at first I thought, well, she's one of hundreds and she's just like a hangers on, but we will hear her talk about like some specific things that Grant has said and done regarding her, where he tries to indicate that she's the only one for him. Now, whether or not that's true, I mean, who the hell knows? But once again, it is really upsetting to recognize that this person committed this horrible crime. He's been found guilty of it. And essentially he's living the life of the Sultan of whatever, the Sultan of prison. Because of his notoriety, he's receiving all of these phone calls, emails, and letters from women who are going crazy about him. And isn't this who he was before he went into jail? He was going crazy about Sylvie. He was her biggest fan. He was living a fantasy. And now it's been flip-flopped. And all of these women are essentially doing what he did a long time ago. It's really sad and annoying to know that he has access to this kind of relationship while he's behind bars and he needs to serve time for taking the life, of his parents. Obviously it's horrible, but of his brother who had his entire life ahead of him.
And I understand how that can be.
Do you think a part of that might be for spending over $200,000?
Yeah. Honestly, and I think the part of that was also him. Like, I think he also liked dominating, and like money kind of gave him power, and it kind of, made him. And once you spend like a certain amount of money, spending another amount of money, it's easier to justify,
I do, yeah. And he liked the idea that these people were thinking that he had more money than he had.
Yes, he liked the power, and domination, just like a lot of men. So it's just a different way of yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, we're not getting any denial from her. She's like, yeah, this is who he was, and it kind of sucks, and I'm disgusted by it, but I'm also really into him. We're gonna hear more about why she's into him, what appeals to her about him, but part of what she's coming forward to discuss is her overall mental health issue with being attracted to men like this. And I think at some point earlier on, which we missed, she talks about being part of the autism spectrum disorder, but considering herself Asperger's. So that could also feed into how inappropriate she is with this relationship.
What is it that appeals to you about people who have committed crimes?
Well, I mean, I never really had a thing. So it's not just anything. I guess it's just the ability to do something like that. I don't think with him it's the crime itself, because honestly, I'm very conflicted about the crime.
In what way?
It kind of pisses me off, honestly. And and when he talks about his relationship with his brother, I actually get teary-eyed and I kind of cry just because it makes me feel so bad.
In what sense? What? Because obviously he's got the one brother which he killed, and his one brother he still.
He loved his brother, and his brother loved him.
By far, for me, this is the saddest part of this case. I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'm going to put out a video going through all of the social media posts about Cody and Grant, everything, because there's kind of a time capsule that's been created on Facebook about everything that happened with this family, because it's all their stuff is still up. It hasn't been taken down. But then there's also a lot of people who have posted saying goodbye to Cody and talking about how much they miss him and how much they love him. It's quite sad. We are also going to review some information from the court in which Cody's girlfriend ends up testifying, and that was sad to see as well. This guy had his whole life ahead of him, and he was working hard and making a good, successful situation for himself, and that was completely stolen away from him.
Honestly, I like his brother more than my own sister. Okay, his brother was an angel.
Was an angel. Are we talking about
His brother was an angel, in my opinion.
Yeah. And how did you end up in a relationship with him?
I don't really write criminals, right? I was watching his case, and I felt like we related a lot on anime and video games, and I felt like he was a good person. I saw that he seemed like a nice guy that just had issues. And I understand that we had a similar relationship dynamic. I have a sister as well, and I was kind of the fucked up black sheep like he was. And my family, I think thought of me as a failure, and my sister, she just had everything going for her. So I could completely understand where he was, and feeling like you're in need and not having a job and just feeling like a failure and wanting just to have someone appreciate you.
Yeah, there's appreciation, there's the need for, and we've all got siblings that, can, but there's a big jump from being irritated by a sibling and killing them, right?
Yeah. I think he did it I don't know.
Do you feel like he felt there was no other way out because of the pressure with the notes?
He just did not have anything of reality. There's no reality, you know.
Is he still detached from reality, would you say?
No. I think he has a lot more hope in his life, honestly, ever since I came around.
I feel like we almost don't really even need to discuss the girlfriend. She clearly has severe mental health issues going on, all right? I mean, it's totally weird and crazy and awful for her to be like, I brought a lot of love into his life. Now he's back in reality. I think it's possible. I really think she's right on the money when she says like he was living in a fantasy world. He couldn't get back to reality. He was in my opinion, from what it looks like, such severe depression. He wasn't sleeping. He was working night shift. He was also just a horrible asshole. Like, none of those things add up to him killing his family. Like, there was something wrong with him on the inside for sure, other than just depression. But I think a lot of those issues contributed to him getting to the point where he didn't see any other way out, and he was completely caught up in this fantasy world. Now, my question is, once he got into prison, was he put on an antidepressant? Was he put on any medication? I think it's quite possible that if he is different now, and he does look very different in the upcoming docuseries, I think it might be because he's finally being medicated. So he's still an asshole. He still could be lying. I think he's probably lying about the fact that he still thinks he wants to tell everyone that he's innocent, you know, but he looks different. He looks better. He sounds more clear-headed, and that could be due to the medication. I'm sorry, but it may not be due to you, Miss Prison Girlfriend.
And how did you end up obviously you saw his case, and then how do you go from watching someone's case to being in a relationship with them?
It was on a whim that I wrote to him because I just was like kind of like depressed and stuff. and we were talking and stuff, and we got along very well. And he actually has a lot of women who write to him. So he has a lot of women who write to him, but they write to him kind of weird stuff, like sexual stuff. Like this one girl said, I want to dad's blood, or people say, I want you to kill me, and things like that. And I just wrote to him about anime and video games like Dark Souls or something.
Yeah, I can see how one would be a lot more appealing than the other.
Yeah, and apparently he hasn't had anybody write to him about anime or video games. And he's the one who said in this interrogation video, I like anime.
Did you ever follow his Twitch channel?
I did, actually. I saw it, and I really thought it was really cool.
Okay. And what would you say? Sorry, go on.
Oh, I had Twitch as well, so I thought that was very cool.
Something that you can connect over. How often do you chat?
We chat 3 times a day on the phone, and we send like 8 messages a day through JPay. And yeah, and we send each other like video. We have video meetings, I guess, like 4 times a week.
So once again, for those of you who don't know, who aren't aware of this, like this is a new prison thing. They have access to these tablets where they talk and message and video chat with their loved ones. For Grant, it's his prison girlfriend. I doubt he has anyone else left. And then also the people who are making the docu-series, there's been a lot of jail calls released with Grant talking to them. So his main form of entertainment is these women, and then the documentarian like calling him to work out the kinks and ask him a bunch of questions about the upcoming documentary, which comes out tomorrow, April 16th. It is really frustrating to know that he gets away with getting to do all of this in prison when he's supposed to be serving time. Hi, buddy.
So he has access to what, a phone, a computer?
Not a computer, but just like a tablet. So a tablet's kind of like an iPad, but not.
Oh, okay. So he's not Twitch streaming from his cell?
Not.
No. How many messages does he get? A lot of letters from people that...
A lot. And he even gets like pictures that are censored. Apparently, he recently got like 4 or 5 like boob pictures, and a girl was like, "Do you miss these?"
What did he say?
He actually wrote something really nice. I don't know if you want me to say it.
No, go on.
Okay, let me find it, because he wrote like the nicest message ever. Okay, he put, I appreciate your outreach, and I don't know what you sent because JP rejected it, but I don't really care to see or read it anyways because I'm removing you. I'm unconditionally in love with the girl of my dreams, and she is everything to me. She knows my past, she's here in the present, and desires the future only we can have. It was faith that brought us together, love that has bound us forever, and desire that gives us hope in the future. I'm sorry this seems cold, but it is meant to be direct. I do not manipulate women. It is detestable The men who do this, no matter how easy, I do not want anyone to speak to me for their own selfish reasons anymore or try manipulate me to be your infamous sexual fantasy. I've had thousands of women reach out to me, and I'm tired and weary of all this self-centered attention. The woman I have fallen in love with, I plan to marry soon, and she is the most special being and possesses the beauty of mind and body that is not of this world. Her heart is more giving and yet wonderfully selfish for me. What we have is built on trust and understanding. Thank you for taking the time out day to write me and send me what you did. It's just not meant to be. I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Sorry, I talk kind of fast.
No, you're okay. So you plan on marrying this guy? Has he proposed? Or was that his way of doing it?
Here.
Oh, wow. So Grant has become the new Sylvie. Like, Sylvie was stringing him along, which is something we'll talk about. I have no problems with what Sylvie did. Like, that was her job. She did her job really well. She did not contribute to Grant, in my opinion, having, hurt his family. She had nothing to do with that. But, like, he's become the new Sylvie. He, like, learned from her. He strings these women along. So he shows this girlfriend, Miss Girlfriend, a message that he sent another girl who's been messaging him to say, like, look, I'm really in love with my real girlfriend. I'm sorry, I'm not into, like, things just for sex. My real girlfriend has the heart and soul of a fairy flower princess, vomit, right? Okay, so he may be on an antidepressant and he may be more in the real world, but he's still creating a fantasy. I don't know what to say. It's sad in a lot of ways. It's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like people in prison should be able to have access to their loved ones, but maybe it could be dependent upon your crime. Like, if you kill all of your loved ones, should you have access to them? Whereas, like, if you smoke some marijuana, should you have access to your loved ones? Yes. You know what I mean? So I just find this really unusual that he has such free access to all of these women. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit more of the interview for you, and we will go over the rest of it tomorrow in my new video where I talk about Grant and Cody's social media. But I just found this incredibly interesting. Please like, comment, subscribe, leave comments below about what you think about this interview. I have so much to say, and I'll see you next time.
Sorry, that's the marriage paper, is it?
Yes.
Okay. You're breaking up. So your parents don't know?
No.
Do you plan on telling them?
Very upset, honestly. I feel like they would kill me.
Do you plan on telling them?
I mean, I don't know.
Because presumably being married and in a relationship with someone who famously did what he did, do you see a life outside of prison with him?
No, I see that. I see, like, me being supportive, honestly.
Yeah, no, I understand. What would you say to those who would be appalled at the prospect of someone being in a relationship with someone who has committed such crimes?
I don't think that they understand, honestly, and I think that people shouldn't otherize criminals or even refer to them as monsters or subhuman, because that just places a moral distance from us and the them, and otherizing people, like a group of people, has led to, like, enormous atrocities, like I was called the Armenian genocide, the Holocaust, things like that, because these people, they were considered subhuman, just like how people refer to criminals and murderers,
But with all due respect, he is a criminal and a murderer, no?
Yeah, but I think that I was called that people deserve compassion, and I think that everybody has a chance of redemption. I don't think that one action should define somebody for the rest of their life. I mean, I was arrested before, and I would hate for that to define me forever. I would hate that,
What were you arrested for?
I don't want to say.
No?
I was younger, though.
It wasn't killing 3 people, then hiding the weapon?
No, it was not violent or anything.
Not violent. I'm trying to just work out the distinction because there's a link between what can be redeemed. Now, obviously, murder in some cases, self-defense can be justifiable. I understand that.
I feel I have a hard time redeeming.
You do?
Yes.
So where do you draw the line on this one? What part of you goes, oh, I can deal with this? Is it because you've built this emotional bond and connection with him?
No, I feel that with almost I mean, honestly, I think about it just in terms of like, I think everybody is capable of this, in my opinion. I mean, Hannah Arendt talks about, the banality of evil and how it was normal people, normal Germans who were committing these atrocities and just were allowing to happen. And it wasn't just them being evil, it was them just taking orders or something. And it was just, the callousness, it was, yeah. I just think anybody's capable of it. And I even think I'm incapable of it. And I don't think people can truly project themselves into another person's situation, because I think that we are inevitably filtered through our own experiences, and we can't really understand what we would have done given the circumstance and the resources, because we don't have it, And I think I'm equally capable of it, but obviously I'm from California and it has very strict gun laws, so I wouldn't even have access to that, so I wouldn't even know. I would never think about that, right? But I can't say that I wouldn't be able to do it myself, because I think murder is natural, in my opinion, in evolutionary psychology. It's I think it's even more natural than altruism.